Hello boys and girls, Miss Holloway here. You should be on reteaching 10-6, equivalent fractions, and the number line. You have already learned how to draw a number line and label fractions on the number line. Knowing and understanding that skill is extremely important for this lesson because you're going to be drawing two number lines and comparing fractions on both number lines. And the number lines are going to have different denominators, which means they have different equal parts. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to draw two number lines when comparing two fractions. I want you to get a piece of scrap paper and do this with me. Okay, we are going to compare two fractions. We are going to compare 3/4 to 6/8. So that means we have to draw a number line with fourths and with eighths. The first number line I'm going to draw will show fourths. Zero on one end and one on the other. Fourths, I'm going to draw one in the center. Remember, anytime you have an even number of spaces, you can draw a tick mark in the center. Then I will have one here and one here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal spaces to represent fourths. Now I'm going to draw my number line that represents eighths, and I'm going to try my best to draw it the exact same size, the same length, and put these tick marks in the same spot as best you can. All right, I'm going to first start with, I'm going to put fourths on this, just like I did above. Then after that, I can put more tick marks to make it eighths. So to make it eighths, I'm going to put a tick mark in between the rest of the tick marks. So the other tick marks line up. So this one should be in the same spot as this one. The middle tick mark should be in the same spot, and that third tick mark up here should be in the same spot as this one. And 1 and 0 should be in the same spot. Okay, now I can label 3/4. This would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Now I can label my eighths. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So now I can clearly see that 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalent. Some other fractions that are equivalent on these two number lines are 2/4 and 4/8 and 1/4 and 2/8. So that's important to know how to do when we're doing these pages together. Okay, let's look at number 1. Things are going to look a little strange, but I want to help you understand what you're actually looking at. So for number 1 and 2, it's giving you only one number line. The other number line is to be imagined, but we're going to draw it out to help us. So we are comparing sixths and thirds. I'm going to put my 0 here, my 1 here. There will be a tick mark here and a tick mark here. Okay, so I'm looking at 2/6, which is right here. I'm going to put a point. And it's going to be equivalent to this fraction. Well, we have to figure out what that fraction is. Well, if I know this is 2/3, and I have 1, 2, 3 parts all together, if this is the second tick mark and this is the first tick mark, then I know that this fraction is 1/3, which means 2/6 is equal to 1/3. They line up in the same spot on the number line. Let's look at number 2. I have one number line representing eighths, and then I have my imaginary number line representing fourths. And I know it's fourths because of the denominator. I'll line up my 0, tick mark here, tick mark here, tick mark here, and 1. So I'm looking at 6/8 is equivalent to this fraction. If this is 1/4, 2/4, this one would be 3/4 because it's the third tick mark. So 6/8 is equal to 3/4. Number 3, Mick uses 2 pieces of rope to make ties for 2 cloth sacks. One rope is 4/8 yard. The other rope is 1/2 yard. He wants to know if they are the same length, which number line correctly models the rope lengths. Okay, so we know 1/2 is in the middle. So the 1/2 fraction down here is representing one of those imaginary number lines. So if you were to draw out your number line representing 1/2, which one would be the correct answer? We know 1/2 is in the middle of the number line. This one is not in the middle because 4/8 is in the middle and it would need to be here. This one looks like it's in the middle. 4/8 is equal to 1/2. C is our answer. It cannot be this one because again 4/8 is in the middle. It cannot be this one because again 4/8 is in the middle and it's over here by 5/8. Okay, turn the page. We're going to do some of the practice side together. Okay, number 1. Write 2 fractions that name the location on the number line below. Again, this is an imaginary number line, so we're going to draw this out. We're going to fill this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Now we got to figure out what fraction is equal to 4/6. If I have 0 here and 1 here, what could be equal to 4/6? Well, in this case, we're going to put a mark here and a mark here. Now, that should help you, give you a clue what it is. There's 1, 2, 3 equal parts. If there are 3 equal parts, our denominator is a 3, or thirds. This will be my first tick mark, and this is my second. So 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. And I know that because if I take 2/3 and I multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, I get 4/6. Same if I was trying to make it simplest form. 4 divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2 would be 2/3. For numbers 2 and 3, we're going to draw a number line to show that the fractions are equivalent. There we go. Okay, so my first number line, now you can do this on one number line if you want. It just might get a little confusing to some. If you did it on one number line, you could always write fourths on the bottom and eighths on the top if you wanted to, but I think drawing it out twice is helpful. And I think this is the example we did in the beginning. Fourths. I'm going to label these fourths as well first, and then I'm going to go back and label eighths. Tick mark in the middle. Okay, so I have 3/4, 1, 2, 3. 3/4, 1, 2, 3 in this, and then I have to show it's equivalent to 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/8. Number 3, draw 2 number lines. 0 and 1, 0 and 1. The first is fourths. The second is eighths again, so I'm going to first make them fourths and then put a tick mark in between to make them eighths. I'm showing 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, so 1/4 is here, equivalent to 2/8. 1, 2. 2/8. They are equivalent. Number 4, explain how you can use a number line to show that 3/6 and 1/2 are equivalent fractions. Okay, so what we could do is draw 2 number lines, divide 1 into 6, and the other into halves. Label to show they are equivalent. Okay. Hopefully you understood that. If not, you might want to go back and watch the videos and maybe even do a couple more practice problems.